Hello everyone, today we're going to be continuing the reading of Maryellen Larkin's first book called The One and Only by Valerie Tripp. Chapter 4, In the Pink. Maryellen's eyes popped open. She slid out of bed and quietly, ever so quietly, she tiptoed outside into the balmy Florida night. She skittered over the grass in her bare feet and slid through the hedge that divided her yard from Davy's. Tap, tappity, tap, 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 tap. Maryellen used her fingernail to beat their secret signal on Davy's bedroom window. After a moment, Davy appeared. He took one look at Maryellen and climbed out his window. "What's up, Doc?" he whispered. Maryellen held one finger to her lips to signal quiet. With her other hand, she gestured to Davy to follow her. The moon cast Davy's and Maryellen's shadows ahead of them as she led the way to the garage and to Dad's workbench. She handed Davy the can of red paint and the paintbrush, and then gathered rags, a scrub brush, and the tin of turpentine in her own arms. She led Davy to the front of the house. "Holy cow," breathed Davy when he saw the mess. "What happened here?" "It's a long story," Maryellen sighed sadly. "Anyway, would you mind painting the doors while I scrub the step?" "Sure," said Davy without hesitation. He began to say, "Let's," but just then Scooter, who had been banished from the house because his stripes of red paint were still wet, ambled into view. "Holy cow," Davy exclaimed softly. "Get a load of Scooter! Stripes, for Pete's sake!" "Hi, old boy," Maryellen said to Scooter. "I'm afraid your shampoo will have to wait. You'll have those red stripes until tomorrow." Scooter didn't seem to mind. In fact, Maryellen thought he seemed rather pleased to have red stripes, as if he were a sporty, portly tiger. The front of the house was bathed in moonlight as Davy finished painting the screen door and started on the front door. Maryellen soaked her rags in turpentine and scrubbed and scrubbed. It was hard work to remove the paint from the front step. How had it splattered so far and wide? She wouldn't have thought there was quite so much red paint in the world, much less in that one can. The turpentine had a sharp smell that made her eyes and nose run, but Maryellen did not give up. Davy, on the other hand, seemed to enjoy painting. "Hey, let's pretend we're in an episode of a TV show about pirates," he suggested. "Or how about if we're explorers," said Maryellen, perking up. "And we were sailing the 7 seas when we were captured by the pirates. They make us work day and night. You're painting the mast, and I'm swabbing the decks of the pirate ship. But pretty soon, with our brave companion, Seawolf, that's Scooter, we'll jump overboard and swim away." "Good idea," said Davy. "Ahoy there, Seawolf." Scooter thumped his tail to show that he was on the game. Pretending helped the time go faster, but it still felt to Maryellen as though she was scrubbing for hours. Scrubbing was very humbling work. Her knees hurt, her arms were sore, and her hands felt rubbed raw. At last, most of the splattered red paint was gone. Maryellen thought the step looked a bit pinkish, but perhaps it was just a trick of the moonlight. Davy finished painting the doors, and then he and Maryellen wiped their hands on the turpentine rags and washed them with the hose. Maryellen dried her hands on her pajama bottoms, and Davy used his t-shirt. When his hands were dry, Davy saluted and said quietly, "Anchors away, matey." Maryellen saluted back. She sure hoped Joanne was wrong about not being friends with a boy in 4th grade. Davy was such a good pal. "Anchors away," she said. "And Davy, thank you." Davy grinned. "Anytime," he said. He stooped over to give Scooter a quick pat. Scooter opened one eye briefly, and then Davy zipped home. Maryellen sneaked back to bed, tired and smelling of turpentine. The next morning, Mom woke Maryellen with a kiss. She opened her eyes to see Mom smiling at her. "Hey, Ellie," Mom said softly. "Are you the magic fairy who scrubbed away the red paint?" Maryellen nodded. "And Davy painted the doors," she said. "Well, thanks," said Mom. "That was a big job, and that's what I call taking responsibility. You're forgiven for yesterday. I rather like having a red door and a pink step out front. I bet Dad will like them too. Come on, let's have breakfast. Betty is making pancakes. Want some?" "Yes, ma'am," said Maryellen. She hugged Mom hard for a moment and then bounced out of bed. She was so happy and relieved that she practically flew into the kitchen. When Maryellen watched Mom, Betty, and Florence together, they reminded her of magic fairies. They finished one another's sentences and all talked at the same time and laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed. They cooked up delicious fudgy brownies that were not burnt and filled the house with enchanting, warm, chocolatey smells, using spoons instead of magic wands to cast a spell of happiness. After breakfast, Mom and Betty and Florence got all dolled up. Mom was wearing a hat and gloves, and Maryellen noticed with admiration that her purse matched her high heels. Betty and Florence put their suitcases in the car because they were taking the train to visit friends in Miami after the reunion. As Mom and her friends drove off, Mom waved out of the car window and called, "Bye, kids. Ellie, please, no surprises when I get back. Promise?" "I promise," said Maryellen. With Mom, Betty, and Florence gone, the house felt dull. Everybody cheered up a bit when Joanne said that they could have brownies for dessert for lunch, as long as they saved one for Dad, who loved brownies. Still, they were all glad to see Mom when she got home at about 3 o'clock. "Was the reunion luncheon fun?" Maryellen asked Mom. She wondered if seeing her old co-workers made Mom wish she were still the star of the factory. "Yes, it was," said Mom as she kicked off her high heels and took off her hat. "It was lovely to see everyone again. But do you know, Betty and Florence said that they had more fun here at our house. They said it was far more entertaining than the reunion." Mom winked at Maryellen, who blushed. "Betty and Florence got a kick out of you kids. They told me that Dad and I are lucky to have such a lively, rowdy family." Mom hugged Mikey and tousled Tom's hair. "And I think they're exactly right." "Well," said Joanne, "most of the time." And everyone, even Maryellen, laughed. The next day, Maryellen was in her bedroom sketching bride dresses and hairdos when Mom popped her head in and said, "I checked, and just as I suspected, you do need new socks and underwear. How would you like to go shopping today?" "Sure," said Maryellen. "All right then," said Mom. "There's no time like the present. Let's go." So just like that, Maryellen found herself skipping happily through the shopping center parking lot next to Mom, trying to keep up with her mother's long strides. She was excited and delighted to be on a shopping trip, even if it was only for underwear and not for a new dress to wear on the first day of school instead of Carolyn's plaid hand-me-down. That didn't matter. The important thing was that today, for a few hours at least, Maryellen had Mom all to herself. Maryellen and Mom walked into the cool of O'Neill's, the nicest department store at the shopping center, and rode the stately silver escalator up to the girls' department on the second floor. As Maryellen stepped off the escalator, she came to a sudden stop. There, on a mannequin, right before her very eyes, was the most wonderful outfit she had ever seen. It was a white blouse, a black patent leather belt, and a very, very full black felt skirt with a pink poodle applique on it. "Oh, Mom, look," said Maryellen exuberantly. "A poodle skirt." She touched the poodle's shiny black button eyes and traced the loops of its leash. "Isn't it the cutest outfit in the world?" "It's cute," said Mom briskly, "but we're here for underwear." "Yes, of course," said Maryellen. Dutifully, she followed Mom to the underwear section and tried to be enthusiastic about white cotton undershirts and Bobby's socks. Talk about dull. Socks were socks, and all the same. "While we're here, let's get underwear for Tom and Dad, too," said Mom. Maryellen swallowed a groan. Underwear for boys and men was even more boring than underwear for girls. But she was patient as Mom chose underpants for Tom and boxer shorts for Dad. And she was patient while she and Mom waited in line to pay for their purchases at the checkout counter, though she couldn't help looking longingly over her shoulder at the poodle skirt in the girls' department. A small, sad sigh escaped her. Mom heard the sigh and saw what Maryellen was gazing at. "Ellie, sweetie," Mom said with a note of warning in her voice, "we're not shopping for skirts today, remember? You already have a perfectly fine back-to-school dress, the plaid one from Carolyn. Didn't we agree on that?" "Yes," said Maryellen. Mom was right. The plaid dress was perfectly fine. It was just so very ordinary. She knew that she should not bug Mom about the fabulous poodle skirt, but she gathered her courage and asked, "Mom, what if I just zipped over to the girls' department and tried on the skirt while you're waiting here in line?" "Well, all right," said Mrs. Larkin, "but I won't be long, so don't dilly-dally." "I won't," Maryellen promised. She grabbed a skirt in her size off the rack, rushed to the dressing room, and tried the skirt on over her sundress. If anything, she thought this poodle skirt looked even more wonderful than she'd expected. She twirled around in front of the 3 dressing room mirrors to make the skirt swing out in a perfect circle, and she was delighted to see hundreds of twirling Maryellens reflected around her in a swirling swoosh. Mom poked her head in around the dressing room curtain. "Ready to go?" she asked. Maryellen nodded. Mom looked at Maryellen and raised an eyebrow. "My, but the poodle on that skirt is pink," she said dryly. "And pink is a color that I should think you'd like to avoid today, even to try on. Your hands are still a bit pink from scrubbing away all that red paint." "Oh, Mom," Maryellen burst out, "you were right. I did paint the door red to show off and get attention for myself, but I also painted it for you. I thought that if our house looked special, your friends would be impressed. They'd see how special you are." "Oh," said Mom. She stepped into the dressing room and sat down hard on the little stool next to the mirror. "Really?" she asked. Maryellen nodded. "Yes," she said fervently. "I didn't want our house to look boring and ordinary because I didn't want Betty and Florence to think that we were boring and ordinary, especially not you." "I see," said Mom. "You were feeling overlooked and underappreciated, and you thought I was too. So you wanted to make a big splash for both of us." Maryellen winced at the word splash, but said, "Yes." "I see," said Mom again. "I'm glad I understand better now. It was sweet of you to think of me and how I might be feeling, and it was good of you to scrub off the red paint too. I know that was hard work. You made a mess, but you took responsibility for cleaning it up. And it was actually Joanne who sort of gave me the idea," said Maryellen. "Did she?" said Mom. "It sounds like she's forgiven you for splattering red paint on Jerry." Maryellen smiled and shrugged. She knew the reason why Joanne had forgiven her, but Joanne had asked her not to tell Mom about being pinned, so she kept quiet. "Anyway, you seem to be back in Joanne's good graces," Mom went on. "If she gives her approval to the all-girls room, Then, as far as I'm concerned, it's a done deal. You can help Joanne and Carolyn move in permanently when we get home." "Really, Mom?" Maryellen asked. "I'm pretty sure Joanne likes it. At least she told me she did." Mom stood up, crossed her arms, tilted her head, and observed Maryellen from head to toe. "All of a sudden, you're looking more mature to me, Miss Maryellen Larkin," she said. "And I don't think it's just because of that very chic poodle skirt you're wearing either." Maryellen beamed. "In fact, the more I look at it, the more I think that skirt suits you," said Mom. "It's quite grown up, and you are too. Dad would say that you look like $1,000,000 in it, Ellie girl. I think you've found yourself a very glamorous back-to-school skirt, don't you? Let's buy it." Maryellen gasped. She threw herself at Mom and said, "Oh, thank you, Mom. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I love it." Maryellen was thrilled. The poodle skirt would be one of the first new things, and certainly one of the most beautiful things she'd ever owned in her life. It was fun and fancy and fashionable. She was absolutely sure that the poodle skirt guaranteed she'd have not only a great first day of school, but also a great year in 4th grade. Even better, the poodle skirt was a perfect reminder that Mom didn't think of her as a little kid anymore, but as someone more grown up, whose ideas should be taken seriously. After all, even if some of her great ideas did not work out as perfectly as they did in her imaginary TV shows, somehow, sometimes, some things still ended happily, just as they had today. The thought of happy endings reminded Maryellen of her Jerry and Joanne wedding project. "Say, Mom," she asked casually, "on our way out of the store, may we swing through the bridal shop?" "Sure," said Mom. "That's a great idea. It'll be fun." Oh boy, thought Maryellen, a poodle skirt, the all-girls room, 4th grade, and a wedding to look forward to. The months to come were sure to be extraordinary. So that is the end of chapter 4. I am really excited that Maryellen got her poodle skirt and her brand new outfit for 4th grade. So I'm guessing in the next chapter, Maryellen will be going to school. At least that's what it sounds like. So make sure, guys, to stay tuned for the next video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, because there is going to be lots more of Maryellen Larkin's books to come. So thanks for watching. See you soon.